Welcome back to Barker Honda's Friday Night Sports. Stan Gravois along with Joe Riley. We are talking about the jamborees that happened tonight in our area. We're going to start off with the Terrebonne Parish Jamboree. Before we get out there, it was set up where the East Side schools played each other in the first game, then Terrebonne against HL in the second game. A lot of people wondered why that was, especially since those teams in the same district. Because next week, South Terrebonne actually takes on HL Bourgeois, and it's not long before Ellender is going to play Terrebonne. So it probably was the right thing to do along the way. Got to tell you, Joe, now you saw the second game, HL against Terrebonne. I saw the first game. I was there for the first game. And when I looked down at the field for pregame, I looked at Ellender warming up, and I looked at South Terrebonne warming up. And listen, this is not a knock against South Terrebonne in any way, shape, or form. And I think Joe can attest to this because we say this every year about South Terrebonne. We said there is no way that team probably should be on the field with that team. I have never seen a better-looking Ellender football team in my entire existence of seeing Ellender play, which is since the school started. They are a good-looking football team. Lots of numbers, big kids. South Terrebonne is still that little, I don't know. Hard, tough, the little gnats, they get after you. And I tell you what, this turned into a really good game. Let's get out to Tom B. Smith Stadium to look at some highlights of this. There are the Gators coming through early, a 6:30 start time, although the Jamboree actually just finished. That is Matt Benoit on a nice pass down there to number 84 of the Gators. Number 84 is Kyle Barker. They don't get it in end zone. Matt Benoit doubles up as the field goal kicker. He kicks a nice field goal. South Terrebonne up 3-0 early in this one. This is a guy who played football at South Terrebonne, Justin Johnson, last year, and then he transferred to Ellender, and he's got a pretty nice run there. Boy, and this guy can throw it. Dustin Crapell, if he stays healthy, he's going to be a really good one in our area. Nice pass in the end zone to number 10 for Ellender, Jared Turner. And brother Jesse Turner, if I'm not mistaken, who played over at Nickel State. Didn't convert on the extra point, 6-3. South Terrebonne gets the ball back. They try and run a little swing pass out there, and it is successful. Christian Wallace on the reception. He runs it all the way into the end zone. South Terrebonne up at this point. They go for 2, and they get it. If I'm not mistaken, that's David McCormick Jr., number 31, who bowls it over. But there was a penalty on that play. They were backed up, so they decided to kick the extra point. 10-6 South Terrebonne at that point. Here is Christian Wallace again, changing his field direction, coming around. He actually didn't start the game for some disciplinary reasons, but came on later in the game, and he had a pretty good game for the Gators. As there you see him catching another touchdown pass. South Terrebonne started the year with maybe not knowing who their quarterback was going to be. Matt Benoit, just a good athlete, doing a good job. And now they have a kid named Danny Ashe, who played at Homer Christian last year, who came in the game and did a good job also. Here's that guy, Justin Johnson, again, going around left side. Big kid.
Big kid.
Runs the ball extremely hard. Darkness starting to set in. Dustin Crapell puts the ball over the goal line. He gets it in. They decide to go for 2. It is intercepted by South Terrebonne's big number 78. And that is, I was looking at the wrong roster here. I don't want to give that to the wrong guy. That was Randall Norman on the interception. Here we are late in the game. South Terrebonne actually in the lead at this time. There goes Justin Johnson around left end. A nice run. I'm not quite sure what that jump was, but he gets pushed out of bounds. Here is Crapell giving the ball to Johnson, and he bowls his way into the end zone for the touchdown. Crapell again. They are trying for a 2-point conversion after a penalty. They do not get the ball in there. And there you see your final score. Although there was 2:59 left on that, final score, Ellender Memorial 18, South Terrebonne 17. A very competitive, well-played game, except for penalties. As far as the kids playing football, it was nice. There were a lot of penalties. This game went on for Ellender. Forever. Ellender looks like a team with the athletes that they have that can contend to win in a lot of games this year. South Terrebonne, that same little scrappy team that gets after you.
Same team. Don't count them out ever. Like I say every year, the first time I was around here, I was like, man, we're going to kill those little kids. But they're going to scrap and fight and claw, and they're going to be there at the end of the game.
Well, the funny thing is I've coached there for years, and I still it still amazes me as I've gotten objective and away from it and see them warming up and going, wow. And then you see them line up against the other team and you always kind of wonder. I will say something too. Again, Jamboree's not the end all to the season. So, you know, you shouldn't get bent out of shape one way or another if you win or lose a Jamboree. But Coach Curlin made the statement before the game, I'm playing my JV kids in the second half, and he played his JV kids in the second half. So, but boy, that take nothing away from Ellender. No. They look good. Turner looked good. Johnson looked good. Dustin Crapell's been looking good for quite some time. They only thing is they cramped up a lot in the second half. Yeah. But did you find that at the Thibodeau Jamboree? Was there anybody cramping up?
A little bit. That first game, it was pretty hot out there, Stan. You know, these kids got to realize how important it is to stay hydrated, not just before the game and the day of the game. Got to be done 3 or 4 days before to take place. But you know, Ellender's going to be an offensive juggernaut this year. I got a chance to watch them against Central Catholic and Morgan City, and they will lighten it up. So if they can stay healthy, you know, that district's going to be interesting.
South Terrebonne, I think, also is going to get better as the year goes on. They're young. They don't have the numbers they usually have, but a team that they do it every year. They get better as the year goes on. The other game played in the Terrebonne Parish Jamboree, again, rivals, Terrebonne against HL Bourgeois. Let's get back to Tom B. Smith Stadium. Believe it or not, folks, this game just ended, so we're giving you stuff from the first half. We had to get back here. First play of the game. I got to tell you, this guy is something else. I think he's a terrific player. Colby Stewart pulls in the ball. He makes great fakes. That's him actually with the ball again as he sneaks it up the middle there. Terrebonne does not convert on their first possession. They have to turn it over to HL. HL's quarterback, Todd Atkins. And I must say this, last week on our preview show, he was listed as a senior. He is not. He is a junior. Unfortunately, we got something from the school listing him as a senior, so we put it that way. He is not. He's a good young ball player. They don't get anything going on their first series. They turn it over to Terrebonne. Here's where Terrebonne makes something happen. A nice pass out there to number 89, Casey Castle. He gets it in close. And then Colby Stewart does the honors. First scorer of the game. Colby Stewart goes over. Extra point by Travis Maynor. Terrebonne up at this point 7-0 with 7:53 left in the first half. Here is Stewart again, number 16. He throws it out there, but unfortunately, young man can't hold on to it. It is stripped, and number 14 for HL Bourgeois comes up with it. I think that's a Van Buren kid, Calvin. Yeah. Calvin Van Buren comes up with it. Todd Atkins, pass over the middle, and unfortunately, number 81 for the Braves can't come up with it either, almost has it, but just gets away from him. That was Nicholas Langford. And there is the guy again, Colby Stewart. I heard Bobby Arsenault say this on radio. It would be nice to see that kid line up at tailback, but unfortunately, he's a running back, and a quarterback, and that's where they need him. He throws the ball well also. Nice field goal by Travis Maynor. The Tigers up at 10-0. That point, they go on to win this one 17-14, unless something happened in the last 30 seconds of this game. That was your final score, 17-14. You've been over at HL Bourgeois for years. You know a lot of those kids on the upswing over there?
Yeah, it's on the upswing. I got the opportunity to go back out this spring and help out with the kids. They've been through a lot the last few years, and they're very resilient. I think they have a great guy in there with Coach Franklin. He's got some good guys in there to help him, and you know, skill guy-wise, they loaded. But you know, just being an outsider looking in, you know, they tune up some things on the offensive line. They're gonna be much improved this year.
Very good. And Terrebonne kind of taking off where they left off last year. They were in the playoffs, so they get a win in the Jamboree. Next week, a Redemptorist team comes in town. That's going to be interesting because we haven't seen Redemptorists in this area, maybe never, because I don't ever remember them coming around. And HL Bourgeois has South Terrebonne. That game going to be played over at South Terrebonne Memorial Stadium. Got to take a break. When we come back, the Thibodeau Jamboree, we're going to look at Assumption against Vanderbilt Catholic. We'll have that when we get back. I had to think of who was playing. That's why.